So guys, I have great news for you today. Apparently, an NFL player is capable of doing their own research and coming to their own conclusion about how certain events happen instead of being pimped out by this woke narrative that's pushing lies and bullshit on everybody to promote violence and protest. But before we get into that, my name is Greg Foreman and you're watching A Black Conservative Perspective. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and most importantly, share A Black Conservative Perspective. You can also follow me on Twitter at GForemanBCP. Let's get it. All right, so Maurkice Pouncey of the Pittsburgh Steelers has decided that he will not be wearing Antwon Rose Jr.'s name on his helmet after doing his own research regarding what actually happened in the situation, right? Antwon Rose Jr. is a so-called victim of police brutality, according to the woke narrative. He was shot and killed by a white police officer. I don't know why race has to do anything with this, but this is the description that I read. But he was shot and killed by a white police officer in East Pittsburgh back in 2018 after they had pulled over a car that was suspected of being in a drive-by shooting, with Antwon being in the car. So the story kind of goes like this. So Antwon is a 17-year-old teenager who was a passenger in a vehicle that was participating in a drive-by shooting. Now, it's unclear whether or not Antwon was actually shooting, but one of the guys who was being shot at said that the beef was between him and Antwon, and that he had saw Antwon shoot. However, this is contradictory in regards to the actual video that we have, which shows somebody in the back seat actually shooting the gun and not Antwon, who is thought to be in the passenger seat. So when this vehicle was pulled over by the cops, while the driver was being arrested, Antwon and his friend, for whatever reason, thought that it was a good idea to try to run away. And when they tried to run away, Antwon was subsequently shot and killed by the police officer as he was trying to run away. And after that, protests broke out in Pittsburgh. People were protesting this, and apparently this became a case of police brutality. Guys, so I'm just gonna say this off the bat, right? Just like the same thing I said with the Breonna Taylor situation. This is a tragedy. He's a 17-year-old boy who he probably made a mistake that unfortunately cost him his life. And that's how the world works, right? I'm not trying to be an asshole. I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm just telling you guys, this is how the world works, and you have to be able to operate in reality, not imaginary world, right? And for example, people want to talk about the police officer, right? Oh, well, he had a use of excessive force. He might have been a racist. Guys, why do you trust the government to hire the right people in the first place? I don't trust the government to hire the right people, guys. On paper, yeah, they should not be hiring people that may be racist or have, a history of excessive use of force. Obviously, right? That on paper. But I don't trust the government to do that. That's why I advocate for personal responsibility. I mean, this stuff is not hard to figure out, guys, right? You can only control what you can control. You only can control you. I can't control the external world, and I don't have faith in the government and other people to act in my best interest. So I need to make sure that when I'm interacting with a police officer, I'm interacting in a way in which I'm assuming that this person's having a bad day. So I'm gonna be on my best behavior, and I'm gonna do what I gotta do. Yes, I understand from a certain libertarian perspective, you shouldn't necessarily kowtow down to the government, right? But in reality, and from a practical perspective, as an individual, when I'm in a situation like that, when I'm interacting with the police, I'm not going to run away. I'm going to make sure I do everything they tell me to do, and I'll rather deal with it in court. And like they say, I'd rather be judged by 12 than carried by 6. It's not that hard to figure out, guys. Again, I don't feel like the officer should have shot Antwon, but I do understand why. I do understand the justification for it. If you're running away after a drive-by shooting, I'm not gonna go run after him. He might have a weapon. He might turn around and try to shoot me, such as Rashard Brooks, right? He's trying to get away, but in reality he probably was just a teenager who was scared and didn't know what to do. But unfortunately, he wasn't scared enough not to be involved in the drive-by. So yeah, I mean, I don't want to come off as a heartless person, like I don't understand. That's why settlements are there, right? This is an ambiguous situation, right? That's why the family received $2 million in settlement from the city. That's why settlements exist in situations like this where it is ambiguous. And the officer, Michael Rusfield, I think what his name is, he was found not guilty on all charges. I mean, they tried to throw the book at him, and he was found not guilty. And at the end of the day, he lost his job. He's not a police officer anymore. That's the only thing you can ask for. So the Pittsburgh Steelers were honoring Antwon Rose as one of these victims, right, on their helmets. And one of the Pittsburgh linemen, Alejandro Villanueva, who is a vet, I believe, who's kind of been against this whole woke narrative the whole time, decided the first game of the season to actually cover up Antwon's name and replace it with a military veteran that had died in 2005, I think during the Iraq War. Now, Marquis Pouncey has followed suit and basically released a statement stating that he has actually done his own research in the situation, and he has come to the conclusion that he is no longer going to wear Antwon Rose Jr.'s name on his helmet, and that he also issued an apology to the police department that he had been working with himself, doing his own work, creating the change that he wants to see. He apologized to them for basically participating in this and being uneducated about the situation. Now, people on his Instagram and his social media get mad at him because they're saying that, oh, you support the police, you're such a bad person. Like, oh, Antwon Rose, Antwon Rose, he still didn't deserve to be shot. He was just a boy. He was running away. He didn't deserve to be shot. Blah, 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 all this woke shit. And I'm proud of Maurkice Pouncey for doing this. And the reason why is because not enough NFL players are taking it upon themselves to do their own research before being pimped out by the woke revolutionaries and the super liberals who are making them push something that they don't know anything about. Apparently, the decision to wear this kid's name on the helmet came from upstairs. It came from corporate, right? So this is not something that the players decide upon. This is something that somebody up top had decided that we're going to do this. And then, the Pittsburgh Steelers on the first game come out and with this big thing saying, end racism. This big demonstration on the field. And it's like, this is a clown show. This is a clown show. Because you guys are honoring people who don't deserve to be honored. I'm sorry. I looked into the Antwon Rose Jr. situation, and Antwon Rose Jr. is not a victim of police brutality, guys. He's a victim of his own bad decision making. That's life. And it really boggles my mind why these people seem to believe that if you make a mistake, that death shouldn't come from making a mistake. And guys, that's not how the world works. I'm not saying that he should have died, but he put himself in a situation to be shot and killed by a police officer because he was participating in a drive-by shooting. He was a participant. He was involved. It doesn't matter if he shot the gun or not. He was a participant. He was out here trying to allegedly take somebody else's life and participating in taking somebody else's life. And he lost his life because he tried to take somebody else's life. And now people want to go out here and march and protest for somebody who was trying to take away from the community, who was participating in violence. And again, I read more into Antwon Rose's background. He was apparently a smart kid. He was an AP student. He was a volunteer in the community. That's all great. And more people should be like that. Except nobody should be doing drive-bys. I mean, guys, this stuff is not hard, right? Instead of people asking, how did Antwon end up in this situation? How did he end up as a victim? How did he end up dead from the police officers in the first place? Nobody ever says, well, this man was trying to take somebody else's life. He was trying to take another black man's life. Nobody ever asked that. End racism. Stop police brutality. Stop killing us. That's what y'all want to say. Y'all want to sit around here and tell white people stop killing us, but we can't stop killing ourselves. And then we're sitting here honoring people that are trying to kill us. Again, Antwon was a kid. He probably made a mistake. He probably was scared when he got pulled over by the cops. And he panicked and he ran. But unfortunately, that was the last and fatal wrong decision that he made. Right? Decision making matters, guys. We don't talk enough about that. That's why I'm making this video. I'm happy that Maurkice Pouncey did his own research. All these NFL players should do their own research and not allow themselves to be pimped out. But the whole point of my video is that we need to start focusing on holding people accountable when they make silly ass mistakes, and not trying to idolize people who lost their lives because they made stupid mistakes. That's the problem. People want to get on the right because the right complains about us idolizing criminals, right? It's hard to make an argument. It's hard to get people on your side when you're trying to idolize people who were killing other black people. How can I go to a white person and be like, hey, I want you to treat me better, when my own people won't treat me better? Hey, I want you to stop killing us, when my own people won't stop killing us. There are real incidents of police brutality in this country that need to be addressed. But we can't address those issues because we keep picking out these stupid situations that are not police brutality. It's really people making stupid decisions, and keep trying to idolize these people who were taken away from the communities. And then we run around here looking like clowns. We look like clowns. You out here honoring Jacob Blake. You look like a clown. And people are saying, well, you shouldn't be looking into the past, or the person in the past don't matter. I actually agree with that to a certain extent. But with Jacob Blake and Rashard Brooks and Breonna Taylor, their past led to them being in a situation where they lost their lives. And when you ignore that, you're not trying to prevent the next situation. I am focused on trying to prevent the next Breonna Taylor. I am focused on trying to prevent the next Antwon Rose. I'm focused on trying to prevent the next Rashard Brooks. I'm not out here telling people that they need to be running away from the police, or that it's okay for you to sell drugs, or it's okay for you to be a sex offender. Jacob Blake got shot because he was at a place he was not supposed to be. There was a restraining order put against him. He legally should not have been there. He put himself in a situation where he was trying to walk away from the police officers pointing a gun at him. That is a stupid decision. Antwon unfortunately made a stupid decision trying to run away from the cops. And yes, stupid decisions can lead to you losing your life. That is the reality of life, even outside of a police issue. I always use this. I don't mean no harm to nobody when I'm texting and I'm driving. But if I text and I drive and I swerve in the next lane and I hit somebody head on and I die, did I deserve to die? No. Of course not. Did I make a small mistake? Yes. But that doesn't change the fact that you died, that you put yourself in a situation where you lost your life. You know, in an ideal world, the cops should have tried to chase him down, right? But again, you don't know if this kid is armed. You don't know if this dude gonna turn around and start shooting at you as a cop, because this guy just got pulled over for doing a drive-by. You don't know what weapons these kids got on them. You don't know what they prone to do. They prone to do something stupid like running away. So who knows? They might be prone to turn around and shoot back. Who knows? So yeah, it's unfortunate that it happened. That's not an ideal situation, but I'm not gonna sit here and put somebody on a pedestal who tried to take away from the community, who was trying to take somebody's life away, or at the very least participating in trying to take somebody else's life away. Guns were found in the vehicle, loaded. So he was a participant. There's no doubt about that. It's really bad optics when you're out here protesting and fighting over people who are trying to take away your community. People look at you like, what's wrong with y'all? Is this what y'all fighting for? Y'all out here protesting in the streets for people who were at a place where he committed sexual assault? You really out here protesting for that? You out here protesting for a 17-year-old that was participating in a drive-by shooting? And that's not just a small mistake. This man was participating in trying to take somebody else's life. There's no excuse for that. And it's a damn shame that the Pittsburgh Steelers have these guys out here putting on this show, wearing names on their helmets that they have no idea what they mean, and participating in this clown show. Because that's what it is. It's a clown show. They're embarrassing you guys. These woke revolutionaries are embarrassing these athletes, man. And people want to get mad at Laura Ingraham for telling athletes to shut up and dribble. She's right. She's right, because you guys are full-time athletes. I'm not saying you're not smart enough. I'm not saying you're not capable of having an opinion. No. But you need to be educated on your opinion before you go out here and start talking about things that you don't know, because otherwise you're going to look silly. Just like all these Pittsburgh Steelers look silly wearing this 17-year-old name on their helmets when this 17-year-old was participating in a drive-by shooting, was trying to take another black man's life. And I commend Marquis Pouncey for doing his own research and continuing his commitment to make his own change in his own community, working with the police departments that he is used to working with, and issuing an apology and admitting that he's wrong. These liberals are using y'all, man. You're being used by these liberals. And there's no consequences for them. There's consequences for everybody else except them. And you see it happening. Again, these corporations, they're putting out these woke messages because they're trying to make money at the expense of you, at the expense of the athlete, at the expense of the employee. It's a damn shame, man. But like I said, I commend Maurkice Pouncey for taking a stand. I hope more NFL players actually do research and become independent thinkers and learn how to think for themselves, because this is the type of stuff we need, man. We got to start pushing accountability. We got to start holding each other accountable. We got to start pushing personal responsibility. We shouldn't be out here honoring drive-by shooters. We shouldn't be doing that. We look silly. We look like we don't know where our priorities are at, because we don't know where our priorities are at. Our priorities are on the wrong people. Our priorities need to be on trying to help alleviate poverty in these communities. That's what the priorities need to be. The priorities don't need to be out here doing this clown fest, tap dancing for these Democrats and these woke revolutionaries on the internet, just because they pressure you into doing some bullshit that you don't even know about. But anyways, let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.